Here are the 20 best restaurants in Mexico City. And yes, we actually ate at every single restaurant on the list.
Sometimes more than once. These aren't going to be Michelin star restaurants or restaurants already on the famous list. Each represents an outstanding value or simply an incredible dining experience.
We have not been compensated for these reviews. We paid out of our pocket for every meal and did not tell the restaurant we'd be posting this video.
We've been fortunate enough to dine at amazing restaurants everywhere from New York City to Paris to villages in Italy.
Come along as we explore our top 10 favorite romantic restaurants in Mexico City,
Our top 5 casual dining restaurants,
and our top 5 cheap dining spots that will wow you with their deliciousness.
For each place, we'll put the price of our meal on the screen. And we'll tell you what we ordered, show you the atmosphere, review the service, and let you know the location.
The price shown is in US dollars and with tax and tip. We tipped a minimum of 10% at each place, as is the custom in Mexico City, sometimes more. Mexico City is truly a food lover's paradise to fit every budget and taste. We were in Mexico City for a month and the restaurant scene went way beyond our expectations.
There was amazing Mexican food, but we also had some of the best meals of my life that were Italian, Japanese, Polish, Israeli, and more.
If you're a food lover, I promise Mexico City will blow you away.
We did the culinary research so you don't have to. First up, here are our top 10 date places. These have incredible food and a romantic or classy atmosphere.
Specia in Hippodromo. That's a neighborhood that's around Roma Norte and La Condesa. It's about a block from Parque Mexico, right on famous Amsterdam Avenue. We spent $67.56, and here's what we got. 2 drinks, a glass of wine and amaretto, patotine, which is this duck dish, which is enough for 2 people, plenty of food. In fact, they told us to order less food because I was about to order that and something else. And like, no, that's plenty for 2 people, and it was. And we got a bottled water. In a restaurant, you can expect pay about $2 or $3 for bottled water.
The food.
I've been to Poland, and this food at this restaurant in Mexico City was just as good. I don't know how they did it, but it was amazing. Really delicious food.
The atmosphere. We went to Specia for a late lunch, but I could totally see it for a date night. They had beautiful white tablecloths and an upscale feeling. The service. We had excellent service at Specia. They were very prompt with refilling our drinks or asking us if we needed anything, and the food came out quickly.
It was really professional, but not overbearing. We love this place. Number 2, Non Solo. We went to the location in Polanco on Julio Verne near Parque Lincoln. We spent $52.64 and we got meatballs, 2 Kir Royale drinks, shrimp pasta, and chicken pasta. It was plenty of food and it was delicious.
The food. This was amazing Italian food. I was not expecting to find amazing Italian food in Mexico City, but this place blew my mind. The atmosphere. So we went to Non Solo for dinner on a Sunday night, and we had to wait maybe 5 or 10 minutes for a table since we didn't have a reservation. But there were plenty of other people on dates. There were some families.
Yeah, I would say this is not a place that you're gonna impress your partner and be like, oh my goodness, but you will with the food.
The service. We had excellent service. This was actually where we had one of the very few waiters that spoke English fluently. So it wasn't difficult ordering or anything like that.
Number 3, Testal. We actually ate at 2 locations, the one in Roma Norte and one in the historic center. Let's cover the one in Roma Norte. We spent $46.35 on a lamb dish called Borrego Testal, which is their signature dish, a glass of wine, a bottled water, and a big local soup called Puchero Blanco, which has meat in it.
The food. This food blew us away. This was next level, delicious.
Yeah, so I thought I knew all about Mexican food through the years, but this lamb dish in particular, I see why it's their signature dish. It was just really amazing. The soup was a really comfort soup that I think originated as quote-unquote peasant food, like something you kind of put together that your grandma might put together from leftovers, and now it's just a tradition, and it really takes you to like a very warm, cozy place.
The atmosphere. The atmosphere at both locations for Testal was definitely fancy, a great place to like buy a bottle of wine and impress your date. And the service was amazing. The guys were so kind and professional. I think our waiter even told us that you were trying to order too much food because their servings are really big.
Yeah, and at one of the locations, I tried to get mezcal, and they didn't know exactly what I wanted, so they bring out the whole mezcal cart, and they're very attentive. At the first test style location,
they let you try one.
Yeah, they let me try one. At the first test style location, I think you dropped a fork by accident, and they were there in like 2 seconds, like really on top of it, but in a really nice way. Great place, definitely worth checking out if you want next level Mexican food. Number 4, Ta'ab in Coyoacan. We spent $39.42. We got a pulled pork burrito, which is way bigger than a regular burrito, and tortilla soup. Maddie also had Uruguay sangria wine, and I had 2 sambucas.
The food. We were surprised because we ordered some simple meals like tortilla soup and a burrito. Okay. It was delicious. Holy cow, I want to go back.
Yeah, the food was surprisingly good. That sangria, you had something to say about it?
Yeah, I dreamt about that sangria the rest of the trip. I was like, oh, where else can I get this?
What would you say makes it different than typical regular sangria?
It wasn't as sweet. Like, you know, sometimes you drink sangria and you feel like there's sugar on your teeth afterwards. It didn't do that to me. And it had more fruit in it. It was just really like simple and smooth.
I love going to places where you have something that you've never had before. I mean, that gets really hard. Like, how many different ways can you have a burrito? But this burrito did taste different. I don't know what ingredients they had in it, and the sangria you had, it's like, that really makes a place memorable. You're like, oh my, remember that, version of this, right? So I thought that was really great.
The atmosphere. This had a very chill, vibey atmosphere. It almost took me back to like when you're in Miami on a patio. So you walk into this restaurant and it looks dark and very like wooded, but then they take you out to this back area and it's this beautiful open patio with like nice tile and umbrellas. It was very quiet.
It would be a dope brunch spot.
And we also had excellent service here. I would definitely go back.
Number 5, Taverna. This is in the neighborhood of Juarez on Prim Avenue. We spent $113.18 on 2 alcohol drinks, the mussels and clams, lamb chops, and meatballs.
The food. So the food at Taverna was great. It was different because it was a Mediterranean or like Greek style food, which is not what we expected to find in Mexico City, but it was awesome to have that option. I thought it was great overall, but maybe not mind-blowing food. However, where Taverna does blow your mind is the atmosphere. You feel like you're in some historical old building, but the lights are dim, there's candlelight. It's a great spot for a date.
So I do the restaurant research in our relationship, except this one was the one that you found and you wanted to go almost strictly for the atmosphere. I thought the food, like you said, was really good, but what sets it apart is definitely the atmosphere. And usually I don't really care too much about it, but even I had to be like, whoa, this is really romantic. This is a place to impress your date or to have that special night out, I think. This is one of the few places, we didn't get reservations anywhere. This is one of the few places that told us, hey, you're going to have to wait. It was about 30 minutes. They took our number, right?
Yeah.
Was it a Saturday night?
It might have been. And it was like 30 minutes, but they took our phone number so we could leave and they just texted us.
Yeah. So we went up to a bar around the corner, which was fantastic. And then we came back and had this awesome meal.
The service. Now, I don't know if it was because we came towards the end of the night, close to closing, but they brought our food out really quickly. They didn't bring out the appetizer before the main meals, but overall, I thought the service was solid.
Number 6, Merkava on famous Amsterdam Avenue between Parque España and Parque Mexico. This again is in the La Condesa Roma Norte type of area. We spent $76.23. We got lamb shank. We also got a pita sandwich full of turkey shawarma. Maddie had a glass of wine, and I had a very special halva cocktail, which I'll tell you about.
Food was different. It was like Middle Eastern food or Israeli food, but it was sweet. Like the lamb shank was sweet. The pita with the turkey shawarma, that was sweet. They had like pineapples in there. I've never had anything like that.
This is one of the more expensive restaurants on our list. So we spent, more money at some places, but we also got more food. But I would say this is worth a go just because you're going to get unique food. If you would like Middle Eastern food, I would say this is a must go. And I want to talk about that halva cocktail. So have you ever had that dessert, Middle Eastern dessert? It's like that sesame seed chalky kind of dessert. I kind of like it. I don't love it. But I'm just so curious to have this kind of a cocktail. It looked like an espresso martini, except it was out of this flavor. flavor. Now, I'm not saying I would have like 3 of these because it's like probably a bit much, but to have one, I've never had anything like it, and I love when we have that new experience. So to me, this was fantastic.
The atmosphere. So the atmosphere there was very upscale, fancy, and clean. It felt like the restaurant was brand new, like maybe they had just renovated or something. And the service, our waiter was on top of it, making sure our drinks were full and was there for anything we needed.
Number 7, La Provaletta. This is in Roma Norte. We actually went here a whole bunch of times.
Like 4 or 5.
Yeah, because it was convenient to where we were staying, and it was just really easy and fun, and also the drinks. So we'll talk about that in a second. We spent, on one of the trips, $100.02. So for this, we had 2 ravioli dishes, and then a steak, which we'll talk about in a second, and 5 drinks.
Okay,
that's
between
why
the 2 of us.
That's yes, between the 2 of us. That's why we ran up the bill. And these were cocktails: espresso martinis, this drink called Mr. Jack, which was really cool, and then some other drink which I don't remember because it was later on in the evening.
The food. So we kept going back, I think for the vibes, but also because Scott fell in love with this ravioli dish that the Argentinian restaurant had.
So you wouldn't expect it in Mexico in an Argentinian restaurant, but it was $11 for this ravioli dish. It's
We
like
got
5 or 6.
Yeah, 6 raviolis.
It was
with
just
meat.
so good, and I was like, all right, this is a good value. So it's delicious. Let me keep eating this. And here's a tip. So the first time we went, the waiter kind of persuaded me to get the more expensive steak. I'm like, all right, Argentinian place. And I thought it was only okay. We came back and like, no, this time I'm getting the less expensive steak because I just thought the picture looked better. And it was better for whatever reason. So I would suggest you go with that version of the steak. So the steak is pretty good. The ravioli, I think, is really delicious. And the drinks are really, really, really great. They even put on a little show for you if you want that. We had this drink called Mr. Jack, which might be their creation, some kind of Jack Daniels fruity.
You know, it has whiskey in it, and I don't like whiskey at all, but you don't taste the whiskey. Like, it has activated carbon in it, so it has this, like, black kind of gritty stuff. It's the most unique drink I've ever had, and it was delicious. The atmosphere. So this place has a downstairs, which is much more family-friendly. It's a nice restaurant. They have white tablecloths and professional-looking servers and waiters. But then you have an upstairs. They have an upstairs level, which is like an exposed rooftop. And some nights they have live music. And then if they don't have live music, then they have a DJ. They have big TV screens. It's dark.
Yeah, so I would say, since we're in the date restaurant section, this is not for your romantic date. This is for your fun date. It's loud. Yeah. You're going to need to talk loud, but it's, lively.
And they're open late.
They're open late, which is another reason we kept coming back. So you want some great cocktails, the fun atmosphere, maybe the live music, what have you. It's a little darker. It's on a rooftop. Yeah, it's good stuff.
The service. We had amazing service here. Holy cow.
It was a little over the top, I would have to say. Like, it was really good service,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm like, all right, I don't need this. I'm like, I feel like a VIP, but
They treated us a little bit like celebrities, but towards the end there, after we went a couple of times, it was like, okay, leave us alone, let us eat.
Yeah, a little bit. But they were really sweet.
They were.
Great place. When we go back to Mexico City, we'll definitely be back. Number 8, Prego. In Polanco, it's near the monument to Simon Bolivar. We spent $55.80. We had the osobuco and a few drinks, the amaretto, limoncello, and sambucos.
The food. We had the osobuco and we shared it. It was a classic osobuco, delicious.
Meat fell off the bone.
The atmosphere. So this is like a nicer Italian restaurant. We went on a Sunday night, so it wasn't very busy, but I could see this place packed for brunch or maybe a Friday or Saturday night.
It's Polanco, so wear your fancy pants.
Yeah, definitely dress a little nicer, although we were in jeans and tennis shoes and felt just fine.
They were my fancy pants jeans.
And we had good service here. They were prompt with bringing out the drinks and the food. No complaints.
Number 9, Casa Portuguese, or Portuguesa, I'm not sure. Also in Polanco, near Parque Lincoln. We spent $49.95. We had the mussels, and we had 3 drinks, a porta tonic, which Maddie will tell you all about. I had a grapefruit mimosa and a sambuca.
Yeah, so we split the mussels and we had some afternoon drinks. The mussels were delicious. Scott was kind of apprehensive about ordering seafood in Mexico because in Mexico City you're not near the coast, but the mussels were excellent.
Let's talk about that porta tonic that you had. You said you really liked it.
Right, so I have never had a white port. And I mean, at home, I've always had this red, like tawny port, delicious at the end of a meal. But this white port, they mix it with tonic water and they put some grapes in it. It was like a spritz, but without the bitter, and it was super refreshing.
I had a grapefruit mimosa, which I hadn't had before. That was good. I think I do prefer the regular orange juice mimosa, but it's cool to try something new.
The atmosphere. So we sat out on the patio, which was a little bit more lively, I think, than it would have been had we sat inside, just because the street vendors are walking along the sidewalk there, which is right next to your table, and they do come up to you while you're sitting at a table.
So yeah, pros and cons. You get great people watching, which is one of our favorite things to do. You're looking towards the park.
You're outside.
But the downside is, yeah, people will come up to you and be like, hey, do you want to buy shoelaces? I'm like, no, thank you. No, gracias. I don't need shoelaces. I'm a Velcro person. Sometimes I feel the need to make an excuse, or, you know, I don't know. Or they're just random stuff they're trying to sell you. It's a little bit annoying, but, you know, all good. That's part of how it is.
We had good service here too, top notch.
Number 10, Saks in Polanco on Campos Elíseos. We spent $56.17. We had the meatballs and a delicious Mexican dish.
I think it was some kind of tacos, like smothered tacos.
You can see it here. We also had drinks. Maddie had freshly squeezed orange juice, and I had a freshly squeezed cocktail from the liquor bottle.
The food was good. This place is fancy. So, you know, whenever you go to a fancy place, you're like, is it all about the atmosphere or is the food actually good? The food was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. It didn't blow us away like some of the other ones on this list. So we put it number 10, but it's still worth going to because...
the atmosphere. It's a beautiful atmosphere. They have a giant patio. We opted to sit inside because it was kind of hot out.
It was packed for the brunch. We went on a Sunday, right? Outside.
Yeah, they had a live musician playing, so the patio was really busy.
Really nice. I wanted to sit inside because it was a little cooler. So it was kind of hot out, and the inside was beautiful too.
The service. We had great service at Saks, although they were a bit quick to clear the table. So if you weren't quite done with your drink, you wanted to like hold on to it before they snatched it up. Okay, now our top 5 casual places.
Number 1, this place was amazing. Murakami in Polanco. We spent $23.76. We had 2 dishes. The Niku Udon, which is sort of like a ramen soup with ribeye beef in it. And the sauce Yakima Sopa. Probably saying that incorrectly, but it's fried noodles with pork and shrimp and vegetables, and we had a bottle of water. What a fantastic deal.
The food. This was a Japanese restaurant. Never did we expect to have good Japanese food in Mexico City, but once again, we were surprised. This food was amazing. I wanted to go back like every day. The atmosphere. So yeah, this place was not fancy, but it was nice. The service was quick and everything was clean.
Number 2, Yellow Monkey in La Condesa. We went here twice because it was so good. The first time we went, we spent $44.33. We had the huevos rancheros with steak, which is like eggs, tortilla, meat, some kind of salsa. And we had a chicken burrito. And I had 2 mimosas that had freshly squeezed orange juice in it, which was so good. And Maddie will tell you about the 2 fresh fruit smoothies she had.
These smoothies were the best smoothies I've ever had. And I know that sounds dramatic, but they were the best smoothies I have ever had. And I will be dreaming about these smoothies for the rest of my life.
There were a few places, another place on the list we'll tell you about in a moment. The fresh fruit is just a great deal. Like in America, we get a fresh fruit smoothie. Actually, we don't even do that because it's like $15 or something.
Yeah, especially
and like
in
you don't
South
even know
Florida.
what crap they put in it. Here, you're watching them do it, and it's just fruit. And then they'll add alcohol if you want it or not. And it's a very reasonable price.
The atmosphere, they have a nice patio, which one time we sat outside, one time we sat inside, and definitely casual wooden tables. The service, the food took a little bit longer than I'd like, but the servers were really friendly and made sure our drinks were full.
Number 3, Pad Thai in Roma Norte on Avenue Sonora. We spent $24.60 on 2 dishes. We had the chicken noodle dish and a yellow curry chicken dish.
The food. This was like our comfort food place. This food was just delicious and you knew it was going to be good every time.
We have a bias because we love Thai food. I'm not going to say this is the best Thai food ever, But if you want Thai food in Mexico City and you're in the area in Roma Norte, put it on your list. It was really good.
The atmosphere. So this was like a smaller place. You can sit outside on the sidewalk or you can sit inside. We went once for lunch and sat outside and once for dinner and sat inside. Both times it was clean and they had speedy service. The food came out fast.
Number 4, Pho King in La Condesa. This is near lots of other Asian restaurants on that street. We spent $14.96. We had pho soup with beef. It was plenty enough for 2 people. We also had a mango smoothie and a bottled water.
The food. The pho soup was delicious. The mango smoothie was nice and fresh, but it wasn't my favorite. Yellow Monkey still has my favorite smoothie.
This is going to sound crazy, but I hadn't had Vietnamese food before. So my first time is in Mexico City. So I can't tell you, hey, this is better than going to Vietnam or similar, like I can tell you with some of the other food on this list. But I really enjoyed it, and it kind of opened my eyes to like, hey, why in the heck have you never had pho soup before?
I thought the pho soup was really comparable to Vietnamese restaurants that I've had in the US.
Yeah, nice spot, good casual food, clean atmosphere, quick service. Number 5, Suvai in Roma Norte. It's next to one of our favorite bars, which is Balmori Rooftop. We spent $43.40. We got butter chicken and mutton kebab, a bottle of water, a soda, and a vodka.
The food. So the food was pretty good here. It wasn't like my all-time favorite Indian food.
Not gonna change your life, but we're hard on Indian food because we've had some incredible Indian food in New York City and other places.
Yeah, but it definitely like scratched that itch of
Yeah.
craving Indian food for us. The atmosphere, it's a cool, vibey atmosphere because you're near a lot of bars.
We ate on the street, which was nice. I like when you can sit outdoors.
Yeah, it wasn't super fancy, but it was nice. The service, on the other hand, was a little bit slow. It took a little while for our
It took about 4 hours for them to pour vodka into my glass, but this still makes the list because if you want Indian food, it did the job. And hey, this is a great deal.
And it's near a lot of other nightlife places. Okay, moving on to our top 5 cheap food places.
Number 1, Tacos San Burgos Angel. This is in the neighborhood of Juarez. We spent $30.18. Now, before you go nuts, I said it's cheap food. Here's how much we got for that. 2 freshly squeezed juice margaritas. We're talking one with fresh strawberries and one with fresh mango, and not a little bit either. Good pours of alcohol, and the fresh fruit alone was worth the price. We had a quesadilla, and then I greedily downed 5 tacos. Maybe I'd let you have a couple of those tacos. I can't recall.
I got a bite in here too.
And then I had a tongue taco, and that was an experience.
Right, so the food was delicious and it was super fast. The atmosphere definitely feels like a little bit more fast food because they have these LED lights.
The place is open late. That's kind of the idea. It's supposed to be fast food. But the service.
The service was excellent. The waiters were very personable and let us even take some footage of them cooking the meat on the grills. They were super nice.
And does a fast food place not only have waiters who are friendly and smile, but have a bartender who makes you delicious drinks and squeezes the fresh juice of the drink in front of you. So even if you just want a smoothie, it's going to be incredible. So that kind of deal for $30 and it's open late, mind-blowing. Number 2, La Casa de Toño. There are multiple locations. We went to the one in Juarez. It's probably a direct competitor to the one I just talked about. All right, you want cheap? We spent $11.17 on pozole soup with chicken in it and 3 chicken tacos and a bottle of water.
Yeah, it was plenty of food for the both of us. We went there for lunch. This place is run like a machine. All of the workers there have these earpieces and they're all chit-chatting each other. Each person has their own job, and each table actually has these buttons that you can press when you need service or when you're ready for your check.
I would call it like a diner type of atmosphere. Super fast, super on point, not messing around.
Definitely.
And it's delicious and quick. Number 3, Exquisite Cochinita in La Condesa. We went here multiple times because it was so good.
At least 2 or 3.
Yeah, one of the times we spent $16.86. That time we got a turkey burrito and a slow roasted pork sandwich and a taco and a coffee and a bottled water.
The food was delicious. It was like home-cooked meals, but at a fast food environment.
This is one of the first places we went to. We had the food. I'm like, whoa, where have they been hiding in America?
The good mix.
Yeah, the good Mexican food. Now, I don't want to hate on Mexican food in America. There's a lot of great spots, but this was just different, more delicious, and so much more affordable. And I was like, we're going to eat here every single day. And then, of course, that's like marrying the first person you date. Don't be silly. But I was just like, holy, this is incredible. But there are better places. But as far as a deal, this is still makes the list because it was so good and so cheap.
This place only has a few tables, so you're most likely going to have to sit outside because it is like a little hole in the wall. But we had excellent service and everything was really clean.
Number 4, Mi Mexico Lindo. This is inside the Coyoacan market. We spent $3.50 for 2 tacos.
So this is definitely like a quick place. We sat down and it's like bar seating around the grill. Very friendly service. The food was good. They cooked it right in front of you. They didn't speak any English, so it was a little bit challenging, but they were really kind and we made it work.
Number 5, Taqueria Los Parados in Roma. This is a taco place that we went to on the DD Takeout app. We spent $14.07 for 6 tacos, and that includes the delivery charge.
Right, we actually ordered from this place twice because the tacos were just that good and it was so convenient and a great value for your money.
Mexico City is one of my favorite restaurant cities in the entire world. And I'm from New York City, so it hurts me a little bit to say that, but I gotta say it's on the list as far as any type of food you want. Mexican food, naturally, but almost any country's type of food, you're gonna find it. Any atmosphere, any budget, awesome. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And to never miss one of our videos, please join our email list on touchdownmoney.com.